Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your holiday break. Or if you're back to work like us, we get you. We see you. We're here doing the same thing, but we're happy to do it. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen. Alex Kirry on vacation. He's one of those taking a break, if you're also taking a break. But you know who never sleeps? The real star of DJ and PK in the morning. Jake Hatch is with us.
What's up?
Jake, first of all, thank you for being here at this hour. I'm sure you'd rather be in bed.
Oh, no.
Or whatever you... I don't know. I don't... So,
Yeah,
I feel your pain
sure.
because when I first got in the TV business, I was an editor, news editor for the morning show while I was going to college.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh, yes. You
So
absolutely
I
know
understand
the pain.
overnights.
You actually know the worse pain than I know.
I had to get up at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're the 2 a.m. wake-up
and
call.
prayed that my alarm went off. And at the time, I was living in Orem.
Oh, jeez.
And so I would commute to Salt Lake City
Uh-huh.
to get here by 3 to edit video and run playback for our morning broadcasts on KSL. This is way back in the day. This is like
Yeah.
2003.
Sure.
So I know what life is like when you wake up in the morning and it's dark,
Yeah.
which you do every day. So a lot of respect for that grind and what you do.
Well, thank you.
And I get it. I understand it. So I'm sure you would rather be doing something else right now. But you're here with us today.
Hey, it's
Talking
always
sports.
It's always a pleasure to join you guys. People ask me all the time, like, when do you sleep? I'm like, very carefully is usually my response.
Very carefully.
Because I've got 3 kids under the 9 and
Oh, yeah.
younger, and I know you know that pain as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's part of the deal. And as PK and I like to joke all the time, he says on the other time, this isn't really like that strenuous, if that
You're
makes
not
sense.
waking up to go work on a construction site like a lot of our loyal viewers, listeners.
I legitimately have a brother who builds houses for a living.
Right.
And he loves to rub it in my face that he's out there on the front lines
Mm-hmm.
building houses while I'm talking sports.
But you get up earlier than him, so rub that into his face.
I do.
He thinks he's tough. Oh, yeah? Tell him when you get up in the morning.
Exactly.
The
No,
other
but-
problem with that, Jake, and you know this pain as well, is sports are happening at night.
Oh, yes.
A lot of news breaks during the daytime in the business hour, the normal business hours.
Yeah.
So when you're working overnight like that and into the morning, and then the temptation is to just stay up and enjoy everything that's going on, because in this business we have that anxiety of wanting to know what's going on all the time.
Correct. Yeah. We have a crippling addiction to being up to speed on everything that's happening.
Yeah, I've struggled with that for 2 decades now, and I know you struggle with it as well. So
Yeah.
it was a legit question when I ask, and I think our listeners would be interested, is when do you sleep?
Well, yeah, like I said, very carefully. But yeah, it's my goal is to be in bed by 10 o'clock. Obviously, my alarm goes off at 4 a.m. It's not the 2 a.m. because I know I've talked to enough TV people.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you, that you were a news editor for a while.
Well, we start at 4:30 a.m. in TV.
Sure, yeah, but I'm telling you,
It's
I
a tough
remember
deadline.
the 2 a.m. I'm like, dude, because like mine goes off at 4 a.m. and it's still super early. Trust me,
Yeah.
I've done it for 12 years in now, I think,
Wow.
with DJ and PK. Yeah, so it's I run about 6 hours of sleep and make do. So
It's like
No,
everybody else. We figure it out.
exactly, we figure it out, and
It's just you don't want to miss the sports going on at night. Like last night, you want to watch the Mammoth game,
correct,
right?
yeah,
Of course, you probably should have turned it off after the second period.
would have felt a lot better about things.
Gosh dang! Come on, Mammoth.
Yeah, Steven Stamkos, man, still really good in front of goal.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show yesterday. It was like Nashville's not great,
Yeah.
but they got stars on their roster, and sure enough, one of the biggest got the Mammoth last night in the third period as they fall. They're off to New York to take on the Islanders, Devils, and Rangers in the new year to start things off.
We had a running joke. So we had Mike Folta on this morning with DJ and PK,
Yeah.
and they play the Islanders. It's Islanders, Devils, Rangers, right in that
Correct.
order.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare like road trips where you're playing 3 games. You don't have to switch a hotel once.
That's nice.
Like that's the perk of all that.
And they're going to be in New York for New Year's.
And that's what Mike was talking about. He was like,
Times Square.
I'm going to go over to Times Square and see the ball drop. I'm like, have fun dealing with those crowds.
Hang out with Ryan Seacrest.
Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve? Come on now.
Is Dick Clark still with us?
No, but they still call it Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve, hosted by, obviously, the venerable Ryan Seacrest.
Can't they come up with an AI Dick Clark instead of Ryan Seacrest?
Probably could.
It's 2026 now. We should be able to do that.
Yeah, they should.
All right. So this is our last show, I should also note, of 2025. And all of you listening, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you listening each and every day or whenever you can here at JJ and Alex. And, of course, the DJ and PK across the board, all the shows here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Tomorrow is the Las Vegas Bowl, and you can hear that game right here on the KSL Sports Zone. I believe the game kicks off at 1:30. I don't know about programming, if they're going to start earlier.
I
if
have
it
that
starts
answer
then.
for you. So 6 to 10 a.m. DJ and PK.
There you go.
10 to noon, Jake and Ben. And then it'll be an abbreviated version of Hans and Scotty from 12 to 1:30. And then, full play-by-play coverage as well as the post-game show with our good friend Alex Napolis as soon as it goes final.
There you
here
go.
On the KSL Sports Zone. And Christian Esparza, who's sitting right next door. I didn't
there
see
you
Christian
go.
in there, so anyways.
There's your layout of programming on New Year's Eve, a big day for us here on the KSL Sports Zone with Utah playing Nebraska in the Las Vegas Bowl. And that's how we're going to start today's show. That is the cut here at 3 o'clock.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
The cut is brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Give them a call today, your local financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Now, there's a bowl game tomorrow for the Utes, but we have some news that broke earlier today. Kind of surprised by this, Jake. I'd love to get your take. John Henry Daly announces that he's going to enter the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Now, I expected there would be some Utes that would jump in, and we know where they're probably going.
We got an idea. Yeah.
Now, you're not supposed to talk to anybody about that stuff until they're actually in the transfer portal, which opens Friday.
As I say, it doesn't actually open until Friday, correct.
But we've had announcements made, and I'm sure that everything was done on the up and up there. But John Henry Daly is in the transfer portal. He will not be back with Utah. Obviously, ended the season with an injury, but was an All-American defensive end, had a breakout season for the Utes. Your thoughts, your reaction when you heard that John Henry Daly is headed elsewhere?
Well, so the number one thing was it's been pretty well known. Now, I don't think it was ever formally reported, but it's an Achilles injury that he's been dealing with.
I believe so, yes.
And he says he's going to be healthy by spring 2026. That's a pretty aggressive timeline to be cleared by next spring. Because that's like 6 months-ish.
Yeah, it's almost a 5-month.
Yeah, and that
start April 1st.
And that has happened in the NFL a handful of times. If I recall correctly, Aaron Rodgers is kind of on that same timeline. Remember when he tore that Achilles? Very aggressive rehab, and obviously that would be pretty astounding if he's back that quickly. Now, am I surprised he's entering the transfer portal? Not particularly, because to your point, in this day and age, there's a lot of back-channel communication going on out there, and we don't know this for certain, but Kyle Whittingham said it himself. He said, if there are guys from Utah, I can't tell them to leave, but if they happen to, pop up in the portal, we may have a conversation. And a guy of John Henry Daly's caliber, double-digit sacks, you mentioned the fact he's an All-American, he is going to have no shortage of options, including Michigan. But that's not the only suitor that'll be coming after him. He's going to have a lot of money thrown his way because you don't get star pass rushers, even coming off a pretty significant injury of that variety, hitting the portal every day. So he's probably, as much as he's maybe probably eyeing Michigan from my perspective, at the same time, he's probably just kind of like, hey, what's the market bear? Like, what can I make out there?
Right, and I guess it's possible he returns to Utah if that's what he's doing.
Sure.
Is dipping his toes in the water to see what's out there. I would get that, and he's proven himself now as one of the top pass rushers in the country, that he has every right to do that, and he's going to get a lot of suitors. So whether that means he's gone from Utah, we don't know. We've seen guys come back, whether it's Utah, BYU, etc. But there's some interesting names out there in the transfer portal right now, and he's one of them for sure. You looked at Texas Tech and what they were able to do in the transfer portal in the trenches last year, Jake. Completely changed that program.
Yeah.
And I'm of the opinion, and you think a lot of these schools are going after the star power and chasing a receiver or a tight end, skill position guy. I think that the true benefit of the transfer portal is the ability to build your team in the trenches first, and that's where teams should be spending their money, in my opinion, because skill players are a dime a dozen. Quarterbacks, that's debatable, but there's so many skill position players out there. You build powerhouse programs in the trenches, and Michigan's one of those places that has always been strong in the trenches. And if you're John Henry Daly and you know that your head coach is heading there, and I'm sure there's a strong relationship there, you look at that pretty strongly as I could go to Michigan, make a lot of money, and be one of the top defensive ends in the country at Michigan. Then what?
Yeah.
You're Aiden Hutchinson.
I was gonna say, that's,
you know what I mean?
That's the archetype is what you're looking at.
And what you're looking at, first-round draft pick and all this. If that's your aspiration and that's what you're looking for, you can understand why someone like John Henry Daly looks at the situation and says, I need to look at that. I need to put myself in a position where I can pursue that. Thus, the decision that was made.
Yeah, and I think he, speaking of John Henry Daly, as you mentioned, has kind of just become this star. And remember, he said, if I recall, it may have been broken since, but he was the single season sack. It set the single season sack record for high school football his senior year at Lone Peak High School. I probably called 4 or 5 of those games. And I've seen a number of downright dominant defensive players. I can think of Hunter Clegg at American Fork High School that are just single-handedly able to dominate a game. Not very many, like I saw with John Henry Daly, because he would get double and triple teamed and routinely beat those double and triple teams and made plays in the backfield. And obviously he went on a mission, spent some time at BYU. His first year at Utah it was kind of feeling out process for him. But this past year, finally was like, oh, yeah, okay, there's the JHD I remember watching all those years ago.
Yeah, I did the same thing, having called some of his games in high school. Just an absolute force. And it felt like it was just a matter of when, not if, right?
So to that point, I think he's now looking at it as, okay, I've got an opportunity to go to, and this is not to say that Utah's not at a high level, but Michigan, what are they, top 5 in terms of the pantheon of greatest programs in college football?
They're the winningest program ever, right? And so, you look at the history, and it's undeniable. And like I mentioned, Aiden Hutchinson.
Sure, yeah.
If you get double-digit sacks at Michigan, you're making millions of dollars in the NFL.
I think that's what he's looking at, is this opportunity, whether it is at Michigan or another one of these top-tier programs, go and show yourself literally at the highest levels of college football, and then ultimately move on to the pros and cash in from that point. I think your other point is well taken, that Texas Tech, they understood, you know what? If we have the best defensive front in all of college football, you know what makes defense really easy? Oh, when teams can't run or pass on you.
Yeah.
And I think BYU got, and Utah to that point, got a full look at, okay, a $7 million, I think it was reported $7 million for that defensive line. And, man, good luck, Oregon, because I'm telling you, that defensive front is worth every time that Texas Tech played. And Tech's doubled down on it, saying that, yeah, they're going to lose a lot of these guys, David Bailey, Romello Height, Skylar Gill-Howard. They're all moving on after the season. What's Texas Tech going to do? Oh, yeah, they're turning right around and just investing in the next crop of elite defensive line talent. And to that point, BYU and Utah, I think that both of them realize, okay, that's exactly how we got to go about building our programs as well.
You saw Utah with a 10-2 record this year, and we'll get to the Vegas Bowl here in a moment. That 10-2 record was built in the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had John Henry Daly on the defensive side, and you had an Outland Trophy winner in Spencer Fano on the other side.
And, by the way, another first-round draft pick in Caleb Lomu.
Just throw Lomu in there as well. And that interior was great, too, of veteran guys, Jared Kump. And, they were you get into all the analytics. I think PFF had them rated as the number one. For some reason, Iowa won the National Offensive Line of the Year award.
Yeah, that Joe Moore Award. The fact that Utah wasn't even a semifinalist for that, or a finalist as that group, that screams that award wasn't paying attention. But to your point, Utah ran the ball with impunity all year long.
Number 1 in the country.
And they just couldn't be stopped. And then on defense, John Henry Daly and the other guys coming off to that edge made life miserable for opposing quarterbacks.
And the second John Henry Daly went down with an injury, what happened to that defense?
Ask Kansas and Kansas State.
House of cards.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how valuable John Henry Daly was for that defense, and he's going to have a lot of value in the transfer portal.
Yep.
Okay, so John Henry Daly is not playing in the bowl game because he's injured. They're not going to have Kyle Whittingham there because he's now the head coach of Michigan. Utah's going to look a lot different tomorrow when they play in this Las Vegas Bowl. And a reminder of that was today when Morgan Scalley stepped up to the podium as the new head coach of the University of Utah. And he had a chance to speak to the media and address the media. And we got a little bit of that for you right now. His thoughts before facing Nebraska in the Vegas Bowl.
What an amazing opponent. I've known Matt Rule and respected him from his time at Baylor, moving on to the NFL, and just a very well-respected leader in this profession. You can tell the way their team plays ball. It's going to be a physical matchup. I was made aware that we were 0-4 by the Nebraska media. They let me know that. So it's like, all right, that's the challenge. That's the gauntlet's been set down. So we're excited for this moment. I'm excited for our players. Devin, the leader that he's been coming in just one season, and he is the catalyst, right, for what we've been able to do. Him and our offensive coordinator, Jason Beck, defensively, and proud of Lander and the seniors. We've got about 13, 14 seniors still going to be playing in this game, and we want to send them out the right way.
That's Morgan Scalley from the Vegas Bowl today. Devin Dampier is going to play in this game, which is exciting. Obviously, Bert Ficklin as well.
Yep.
You saw the two of them modeling the Utah uniforms that they're going to wear in the Las Vegas Bowl if you've been on social media today. So if you're a Utah fan, that's exciting. Those two quarterbacks are going to be playing in this game. Sounds like a lot of seniors are going to be playing in this game as well. I like that. I mean, Lander Barton being one of them.
Yeah.
Not every senior's playing. Logan Fano's headed to the NFL along with his brother Spencer, and Caleb Lomu's not playing in this game. They're not technically seniors, but they're not playing in this game. I look at Utah, and I feel like that Utah's going to have some juice, Jake. What do you think? I think that Morgan Scalley coaching this game, everything that's happened over the last month, and with the players that are going to be playing in this game, we'll see if it's the last game for Jason Beck as OC.
Yeah.
Kind of expect that. We'll stay tuned on that later in the week. We think we're going to hear some things later on in the week after these games are over on Wednesday. I think both Michigan and Utah are having respect for the coaching staffs at both schools.
Correct.
They're not going to announce anything or any shakeups as far as coordinators go or assistant coaches until these bowl games are over on Wednesday. But I think Utah's going to bring some juice to this game. I don't know where Nebraska's going to find theirs.
Well, and so we had Sean Callahan from Husker Online and on3.com this morning, and he kind of made that same point. He said, this is a really kind of gutted Nebraska roster because you don't have your quarterback. You don't have some of these guys who have opted out of this game. And I think the point that you make is well taken. This is Morgan Scalley's first game as the head coach of the Utah football program. And every player that's not a senior on Utah's roster has to kind of look at this as a tryout in a way. Because guess what? It's a new regime. And if you want to essentially lock down your spot for next year, well, you want to go out and put a performance on tape in this game that has Morgan saying, okay, yeah, that's one of my guys. And that's much easier said than done. But I think that you mentioned that juice, it comes from that. This was supposed to be the swan song for Kyle Whittingham, and then circumstances played out the way that they did, and he needed to get started, obviously building, I guess not building, but keeping Michigan's roster intact and just doing his thing out there in Ann Arbor. So he's in Orlando versus being in Vegas. So it hands the reins over to Morgan Scalley, and I really look forward to seeing how Utah responds in this game, but I think you nailed it. They have a whole lot more going for them in this game than it feels like Matt Rule and the Nebraska Cornhuskers have.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I like the fact that the quarterbacks are playing in this game, and I feel like they have something to prove. There's a lot of guys on this Utah team that have something to prove. You mentioned you could view it as an audition. You can view it as I don't know. Like when teams go through stuff like this, and there's much worse things to go through than a coaching transition, especially like this. But like, there's just it leads guys to rally.
Yeah,
it gives kids a reason to bring out their best. I look at Nebraska and I just don't see how they're going to be able to compete with this Utah team if they bring their juice. It was the last bowl game was that Utah was in 2023 against Northwestern.
Yeah,
I believe it was also the Vegas Bowl, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right.
So everybody, that feeling going into that game was like, they don't want to be here.
Well, yeah.
and it played out that way.
And the performance kind of indicated
nobody played in it. I mean, Bryson Barnes had already transferred to Utah State, and he was the starting quarterback. And we're all looking at each other like, what are they doing this for? I don't get that feeling about tomorrow. This feels like a group that wants to be there, that has something to play for, something to play about. I get a good vibe from Utah going into this game is what I'm saying. They're 14-point favorites.
Yeah.
And for a reason.
I was going to say. Like,
no Dylan Raiola. They don't have their starting running back. I don't know what Nebraska is right now, but even on paper, Utah was a 10-2 team this year. Nebraska 7-5, and they were one play away from being 6-6. If Cincinnati could have finished that game off in the opener, I just don't think Nebraska can compete with Utah in this game. As far as I'm not saying that this is going to be a blowout, but Vegas knows obviously that there's an edge in this game, and it points towards Utah. So, and I think it would have some value for Utah to win this game. Moving in, I think there's too much made, Jake, about the momentum you carry from a bowl game. Like, come on, that's BS. Although, you could argue BYU got some momentum from that dominant performance against Colorado. They just kind of, the 11-win thing, it kind of kept the ball rolling.
Sure. And
then some, Jake Retzloff, the situation kind of took a little bit of steam out of that, but then Bear kind of rescued that as that season went along. But for the most part, you look at teams that have some, a bad bowl performance or don't end things very well. Seasons don't meld like that. I just don't buy that you have this big surge of momentum because of a bowl win. I think that's overplayed. So that's not necessarily what Utah's looking for here. But I just see a group of guys that want to go out there and play hard and play for their new head coach.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys are there because of Morgan Scalley.
Well, and the other thing is, the one thing I like about what Utah's built is it's a culture that is kind of pervasive in that program, that it's not just that we're here to collect a paycheck. No, we play for more than that. And that's been instilled, obviously, by what Kyle Whittingham's done over the 21 seasons he was the head coach. And Morgan Scalley, all he's really doing is taking the baton that's being handed over to him and carrying it forward here. I don't expect that to change whatsoever. And that's what I expect with this performance tomorrow, is I expect Utah to go out there, lay the wood to Nebraska, and then just kind of carry on doing what they have done. Now, you mentioned the fact that after this game goes final, obviously changes, it feels like, are going to come.
No doubt.
And that's plural. But the nice part is you can go into the offseason with momentum, understanding that you have the brain trust in place. Whereas for Nebraska, they're just playing out the string. And it feels like the only way Nebraska wins that game tomorrow, in my opinion, is if Utah is very careless with the football.
Right.
You're couple interceptions, a fumble here and there. You set them up to cash in on stuff like that. That's really the only way I see Nebraska pulling out a win in this one. And that would give them, I guess, the juice that they've probably been searching for this whole prep period leading up to it. But it does feel like Utah, they have everything rolling right now. And this is just kind of the final game, and then parlay that into an offseason where, there will be change, but understand that the culture, the goals, everything that Utah stands for, it's not changing.
An 11-2 season after that 5-7 debacle last year, and all that they went through would be quite an accomplishment for this Utah football program. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the momentum from the bowl game is necessarily going to carry into next year, but Morgan Scalley taking over this program, whatever changes are made on the staff of the coaching, and a lot of these players coming back and players they could potentially add is the reason why you should be high on Utah football moving forward into 2026.
No doubt.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, an early NFL Blitz. Quite a game last night in the NFL on Monday Night Football. We'll break down Rams and Falcons last night. And if you had Bijan Robinson in your fantasy football championship last night,
congrats to you.
We are the champions, my friends.
So can we reveal this, by the way, on the other side, who won our zone producer/tech team championship in our fantasy football league? It's our first ever. Should we do that next?
Okay, we're going to do that next. I'm sure that all the listeners right now can't wait to find out who won your fantasy football championship. They're on pins and needles. We'll be right back after this.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen, Jake Hatch in for Alex Kirry. Looking on my calendar here, it is a Tuesday. You know what that means.
Utah Jazz Ticket Tuesday?
It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Get ready to call right now. Caller number 12 at 801-575-ZONE wins a pair of tickets to see the Utah Jazz take on Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday, January 8th at the Delta Center at 7 p.m. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. The NFL is king. The NFL never disappoints. And last night, we got another crazy game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a 49ers fan?
Yes.
So you really enjoyed Sunday Night Football on KSL and NBC.
It was kind of like coming down to the wire. It was like, oh, come on, guys.
It was incredible.
I know. It was a fun game, though.
Drama. It came down to the final play. One of the best games of the year. The Bears have now been involved in two of the best games of the year.
Yeah.
That game against the Packers was wild as well the week before. And then the Rams and Falcons gave us quite a game last night. Now, for a while, it looked like it was a stinker.
It was 21-0
at the half.
Yeah, and that included, you mentioned before the break, a 93-yard dash to glory for Bijan Robinson.
No defense.
Yeah.
He had 31 fantasy points by halftime, by the way. He was having a heck of a game. He went over 200 scrimmage yards in that game by the time he was done.
Mm-hmm.
So Bijan Robinson was electric. The Rams did not start well, but, man, they came raging back.
Yeah.
That blocked field goal and return by Jared Verse was unbelievable.
Yep.
He was so good. He's such a great athlete. He blocks a kick. He picks it up off the bounce, and he's so fast as a defensive end. He has time to look at the Falcons sideline and give the peace sign while he's racing to the end zone. That is confidence. That is athleticism right there.
He pulled the Tyreek Hill.
100%.
Tyreek used to turn around and give guys the peace sign when he was pulling away from him. But this is a defensive lineman in Jared Verse.
Right.
But it kind of shows kind of this new breed of defensive linemen in the NFL that they are just freaks. And we used to call Javon Kearse the freak.
Yeah.
Well, kind of all these guys are that variety now.
Javon Kearse kind of changed things where they were looking for the tall, lean, athletic defensive ends. Now all of them are. Now we have defensive interior linemen that have run 4.8 40s or something like that. It's just insane the athleticism that you now see all along the defensive front.
Correct.
And every NFL team.
So Jared Verse shined. And, okay, we also got to talk about the catch, non-catch for Puka Nacua.
Puka had tough breaks last night. First, the 40-yard touchdown that was taken away from him. Let's hear from Rams fan behind the glass here. Napolis, was it a hold or not?
I think it was.
You think it was?
I think it was.
Wow, being honest.
Okay.
You took your fan hat off there for a moment.
PI later on in the game.
That got missed. That was a big call.
I'm just saying that final play, because it could have made this, even more intriguing than it already was.
Well, the Rams would have had a field goal attempt to tie it.
I thought he caught it. Now,
do you still think he caught it?
Then I saw they have a reverse angle camera shot, and I hadn't seen that until earlier today.
Oh, okay.
So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, got it now.
So if you watch the game live, had he been able to complete that catch, I would have been willing to say that's the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life. He had no business catching that pass. It was thrown way out of bounds. He somehow stretches out. He got his fingertips on it.
Yeah.
And was able, that's a Matthew Stafford pass to the sideline. It's a rocket.
Yeah.
And he caught it with his fingertips, and he literally stuck it on his fingertips, gets his feet down, both feet stretched out, laying out his 6'4" body stretched out. I don't know, is Puka that tall?
I think he's 6'2",
he plays big.
But
he plays big.
His catch radius is nuts.
It is. It's insane. And initially, I'm like, oh my gosh, he caught that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they showed the overhead angle. Now, you have to see the overhead angle to see, oh no, like halfway between him falling from the time he made the catch to falling down on the ground after his feet have left the field of play, the ball comes loose from his fingertips, and he still was able to haul it in, but at that point, he had been out of bounds, so it was incomplete. They reviewed it, so it shouldn't have counted as it didn't in the game. But Puka continues to show, even when he doesn't catch a pass, how incredible he is.
One of the greatest non-catches of all time.
It was spectacular. It's like watching a reel of the best dunks that never counted.
Well, and that's the thing about Puka, because he set the NFL record last night for the fastest player to 300 career receptions in 43 games. And we were talking about this morning with DJ PK. Like, PK's like, how does this guy fall to the 5th round? It's like, really, the only thing that knocked him down was his health at BYU because he missed games. And
he didn't test well at the combine, that kind of stuff.
That was never really going to be Puka's thing, is to be a combine superstar. That's not his game.
No.
He's just a freak. He gets on the field. He plays faster, bigger, stronger than anything he could ever test in terms of the underwear Olympics of the combine.
Shows you how much value should not be taken into that sometimes.
Sure, but he's a ball player, and he is proven to be everything the Rams could hope for and more. And every time he steps on the field, I'm not sure what we're going to watch, but I know it's going to be fun.
He continues to amaze, even though the Rams come up short last night, and that prevents the Rams from having any chance of winning the NFC West, which should make you and 49ers fans happy. It's going to come down to the 49ers and the Seahawks Saturday night for the NFC. And, of course, the winner of that game gets the number 1 overall seed in the NFC playoffs. We'll get to that in Would You Rather. I have a little thing I want to discuss for that. But Rams, a couple of tough breaks over the last couple of weeks. I still believe in the Rams. I still think they're very, very good. But this significantly impacts them as far as their seeding in the playoffs. Instead of playing a game at Carolina or Tampa, they're probably looking at a rematch with the Eagles again in the playoffs, which in Philadelphia, just like it was last year, which could be tough for them.
Well, and that's the thing about Philadelphia. They won on Sunday despite not having a single completed pass in the second half.
Insane.
Which kind of shows you what Philadelphia is relying upon right now, and that's an incredible defense. And yes, Josh Allen misfired. Like, he had his guy, and I would imagine that you give Josh Allen that same 2-point conversion opportunity 10 more times, he completes it 9 of the next 10 opportunities, it feels like.
Josh Allen has won an MVP. Josh Allen is elite. That's one of the worst quarterback plays of the year. It was that wide open.
Yeah.
And he knows it.
Yeah.
And he's owning that and wearing that all week long. I'm going to be curious to see how Josh Allen bounces back from that pass, because as an intense competitor, when you blow such a simple, easy play for a win, I can't imagine how that eats at you. So it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from that.
To your point, the Rams having to go to Philadelphia, man, I don't know what to make of the Eagles, but you do not want to play in Philadelphia.
No.
Because to your point, you could have been playing at Carolina or at Tampa Bay where you're like, hey, we got this.
Yeah.
But
no one's intimidated about playing in Tampa in January. Let's be honest right now.
But if you go to Philadelphia,
and it's 12 degrees, and someone's throwing batteries at your head, it's a little bit different environment.
You have to face the tush push all the time.
Oh,
you
that
know?
too. Gosh, the Eagles are like a trip to the dentist. I don't want to watch an Eagles game. I'm sorry, I have no interest.
Well, I'm with you on that. That's the problem with the Eagles right now, is they just
so boring.
Amen. That's exactly, you nailed it. Boring right now.
But boring works, especially in the NFL.
Yep.
And they have something going. A lot of things are going to shake out. Week 18 is going to be interesting to see what the final spots are, who's going to get which seeds, and who's going to win the AFC North and the NFC South. Now, the AFC North is an interesting game because there's news now that Steelers star defensive end TJ Watt might return for that game. They've really missed him.
Yeah.
So you're looking for anything in that game that could give an edge, and for the Steelers, that could be it. What are your thoughts on that game? The Ravens and the Steelers, both have underperformed this year dramatically.
Sure. The question is, okay, if TJ Watt returns, that's obviously a major boost to the Steelers' opportunity for this, because they currently are sitting in that 4 spot, and they win, they're in. It's the same thing for Baltimore.
Yep.
But there are questions about Baltimore with regards to Lamar Jackson all season long. It's been like a week-by-week thing.
I'll be honest, Jake, I think they're better off with Tyler Huntley right now.
But they're going to play Lamar if he's capable of going.
Right.
And if you get TJ Watt, and he's had that collapsed lung, it was a dry needling procedure that collapsed it, if I recall correctly, which is just horrifying.
What?
Yeah, it's just like, ugh, okay.
Just the thought of saying the term dry needling gave me the ick.
Yeah, so him being back and being able to bring pressure into the backfield there with a, let's say, 90, 80% type of Lamar Jackson, I think the Steelers have the edge, but I also think the Steelers have the edge just personally, because it feels like this is a year that Baltimore should have been a whole lot better than they have been.
No question.
And it's just kind of been a fits and starts. And now, could they put on a performance that gets them into the playoffs here? But would you trust them to go any deeper than one round? I wouldn't.
No. I don't think the Steelers or the Ravens win a playoff game. I just feel like the Ravens come in with more momentum.
They do.
Won at Lambeau. Derrick Henry is back on track.
Huntley's wearing a cheese grater hat.
They're having fun. There's a good vibe with the Ravens right now. The Steelers looked anemic against the Browns. I know the Browns' defense is tough. The weather wasn't great. But that was a big, big game for the Steelers. They could have clinched, and they fell flat on their face against a bad football team. So I like the Ravens in this game coming up, and which would be interesting because what's going to happen in Pittsburgh? What's the fallout going to be with the Steelers if they miss the playoffs? That's the one thing that Tomlin hangs his hat on. At least we make the playoffs.
Yeah, and obviously Tomlin has never had a losing season in his run as the head coach, and it's not going to happen this year because they are 9-7. So regardless of the outcome, but it does feel like in some ways. And by the way, you want to talk about a franchise that does not change coaches at all?
It's insane. They've had like 3 coaches since 1960.
Yeah, because
it's insane.
And is Tomlin 14 years deep now? I think.
Oh yeah.
Like him and John Harbaugh, who are going head to head in this game, they're 2 of the longer tenured coaches with their respective franchises in the NFL. And to your point,
2007 was his first season. So he's more than 14 in.
Okay, so you just kind of look at it and say, okay,
it's his 19th season.
Oh, jeez.
I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's nuts to consider.
He took over when he was 34 years old.
I know, because do you remember when he took over? He was like, everyone's like, who?
Yeah, I know.
Because the Rooney family, who owns the Steelers, you mentioned the fact that they've had 3 coaches in 60 years. When they found him and they interviewed him, that's our guy. And everybody's kind of like, he's 34. Like, what are you doing here? But he's proven to be an incredible coach.
Won multiple Super Bowls.
But it does feel like if you fall out of the playoffs here, do they decide, you know what, it's time to move along?
I think he's going to stick around, but you just have to keep asking yourself, if the Steelers don't make a change at head coach, then there's certainly got to be a rebuilding process because that is an aging team.
Yeah, as I say, this Tomlin,
their key players are aging quickly.
Well, yeah, your quarterback is Aaron Rodgers and T.J. Watt.
Hayward's is a Hall of Famer, but he's up there.
Yeah, Cameron Hayward's 30? Yeah, man, I don't know, 38. I don't. But to your point, this
lack of skill position players. Who's their stars? They got to. It's time for a rebuild.
And are the black and gold faithful going to be willing to endure a years long rebuild? And is Tomlin, to his credit, willing to go through that? Because you make the point, he's constantly talked about no, we make the playoffs. That's what we do around here. Well, if you really want to get back to being a Super Bowl contender, you're going to have to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it.
Yeah, so Yahoo's reporting that his tenure could be up soon. We'll see. I don't know. But it would be crazy to see the Steelers without Mike Tomlin as head coach. But it's been a long run and feels like something has to give if they don't make the playoffs this season because, as you mentioned, they always make the playoffs. Well, if they don't, and it's pretty clear you got an aging roster. Kind of looks like the Saints a couple years ago.
Yeah, I agree.
Where you're looking at the New Orleans Saints, you're like, okay, this run is over.
Yeah.
It's time to rebuild, and that's what they're doing right now. And now you're seeing the team start to see the fruits of that rebuild, winning 4 straight here at the end of this season. So it just feels like it might be the Steelers' time.
Yeah.
And their window could be closed.
Which is just funny to me because, Tomlin's just been a fixture on that sideline, and this is a franchise that has been really reticent to do anything of this nature. But it feels like, to everybody's point out there, they really want to get back because this is a Steelers franchise. They're the team of the 70s. They obviously had that great run. They've won so many Super Bowls. That's what they aspire to do. This current roster is going nowhere.
Yeah, this isn't the quality that the Steelers always try to uphold and attain. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, a Would You Rather. It'll be an NFL Would You Rather. And then coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, Bill Bender from college football, writer for Sporting News, college football writer. And then Steve Bartle will join us from Vegas coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. So a lot ahead here on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hypotheticals to get your brain churning. as JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Jeremiah Jensen, Jake Hatch in for Alex Kirry here on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for a little Would You Rather. And I want to dip into the NFL playoff bracket. It's almost finalized.
Yeah.
We don't know who the division winners are in the
Correct.
AFC, in the NFC South and the AFC North. But we know the rest of the teams that are in. We don't know all the spots. They haven't been clinched yet. And now you're a 49ers fan, so you're going to be very curious Saturday night how things play out. And the 49ers, which is a credit to them, have a chance to get the number 1 overall seed in the NFC.
Which they need.
You agree they need. By beating Seattle. If they don't beat Seattle, they could potentially drop to 6.
Yeah, that's...
There's a tiebreak that comes in with the Rams and the
Yeah.
49ers. I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but I'm curious, though. You look at the AFC and you look at the NFC. That 5 seed is always interesting, Jake, because you're going to play the 4 seed,
Yeah.
who honestly doesn't belong in the playoffs. No team in the AFC or the NFC
Yeah.
that's going to win those divisions truly, honestly belongs there or deserves to be there.
Yeah.
So in the NFC, you're going to have either the Panthers or the Bucs. The Bucs have just absolutely collapsed. Baker Mayfield's banged up. I think the Panthers are going to win that game, but they don't seem to want it either.
Yeah.
They've had chances to clinch that, and they haven't done it yet. On the other side, we just talked about the Ravens and the Steelers, so everyone's up to speed on that. I think the Ravens are going to find a way to win that game. But you want to be the 5 seed if you're not the 1 seed. Because you're not going to win. You didn't win the division, so it's the best you can do. The reason why you want to be the 5 seed in that scenario is because you're going to go on the road, but you're going to be playing a bad team. So the 49ers would potentially go to Carolina and play the Panthers in the first round. You feel pretty good about that?
I do, especially considering there's a certain guy on San Francisco's side who wants nothing more than to stick it to his former franchise. That would be one Christian McCaffrey. Because they did play the Panthers earlier this year, and
Yes.
he essentially had used like the Michael Jordan, and that it was personal. And he put on a performance that was really impressive in that game. I'd be confident in that. Speaking of San Francisco, going there and winning that game, but considering the circumstance San Francisco finds themselves in, Trent Williams banged up, injured his hamstring on Sunday night. He's obviously the bedrock that offensive line relies upon. You need to get those guys as healthy as possible, so an extra week off would really help San Francisco. But if you're going to drop and you're not going to be one of the division winners, yeah, you want that 5 seed because, to your point, JJ, they need to do something about this where a 9-8 Carolina Panthers team that would likely be 8 or 9 in the actual standings, the fact that they're the 4 seed,
Yeah.
it can't stand. And it's the same thing with the AFC North. Like, those teams should be in the bottom of the playoffs. And I know that would require the NFL to reseed everything and get everybody on board with this. And
You'd have to get rid of divisions.
correct. And I'm not sure that people are willing to do that.
I mean, I think the Panthers and the Bucs are gonna. I think the Panthers are gonna lose.
Well,
But they still could. Here's the funny thing: is that the Falcons win and the Panthers lose, the Panthers still get in.
yeah, the
Because
tiebreaker.
there would be a 3-way tiebreak. That's it. The Falcons win, and right now the Falcons look pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Falcons beat the Bills and the Rams this year. That's a good football team, but they don't show up every week. So I think the Panthers could lose to the Bucs and still get in.
Yeah.
Which is a wild scenario. But that's not my question was: would you rather be the 5 seed in the NFC or the 5 seed in the AFC? Now the AFC is interesting. The Texans currently reside there.
Yeah.
The Texans going on the road and having to play, let's say, Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think the Texans win that game.
Yeah, I would want the 5 seed in the NFC just because Tampa Bay and Carolina they look ripe for the picking.
Right. I think Texans would get a much tougher game. Now the Chargers are going to sit
Yeah.
Justin Herbert this week. They're in the 6th spot. They're tied. So there's a 3-way tie between the Bills, Chargers, and Texans. The Texans win that tiebreaker currently. between those three teams. So there's still a lot at stake for the Chargers, and they're sitting Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
That's an interesting decision.
It's the debate of rest versus rust. And Harbaugh, speaking of Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of the Chargers, he declared outright. He's like, "No, we're sitting Herbert this weekend." No, Herbert's got the hand he broke, still on the mend there. I can understand that. And the other thing is, let's say that the Chargers had more stakes on this game because they're going up against the Denver Broncos. Denver will clinch the 1 seed with a win, and with the Chargers sitting their guys, you'd think that's going to play out. If there was a chance for the Chargers to move up and potentially have the AFC West crown or be higher up in these standings, you very well may have seen them play their guys. But I just think they're looking at it and saying, you know what? We're okay where we're at.
That's why I bring this up is like, why aren't they going all in on getting the 5 seed? Because that's the better matchup. If they are 6, they got to go to Jacksonville. If they're 7th, they've got to go to New England in the cold
that's a good point.
And try to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
Why aren't you trying to win this last game against the Broncos? The Bills are going to play the Jets. They're going to win.
Yeah.
The Texans are playing the Colts, who have nothing to play for, but I think the Colts might play hard in that game. If I'm the Chargers, I feels like they're conceding that spot, and they're going to drop to 7th.
That's okay.
And open up against the Patriots on the road. I don't want anything to do with that.
That's a good point.
I want to go play that AFC North champ. I'm playing for the 5 seed.
That's a good point. Now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually, man. Yeah, I don't know now. Now I'm all of a sudden like I've completely changed my thought process on this because to your point, that does play into this. Are you trying to go to Foxborough in January? No thanks.
Maybe Harbaugh and that crew has a lot of confidence that while it's a really good Patriots team, that's a Patriots team that overall, especially at the quarterback position, doesn't have previous playoff experience. They feel that confident. Unless you really think Herbert needs the rest for you to even have a chance in the playoffs.
And I guess that's kind of got to be part of the thought process here.
But you're 11-5, and you just a win. The Texans could easily lose to the Colts. The Bills probably not losing.
No.
But they have the tiebreaker over Buffalo. Weird decision.
I don't know.
Strange decision.
I look at it, and Jim Harbaugh, he is an interesting cat.
Right.
And I say that as a guy who had him lead my franchise, speaking of the 49ers, to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he doesn't march to the beat of anybody's drum other than
He's a weirdo is what you're saying.
Oh, no. Come on. This guy was famous for wearing khakis literally every day because he didn't want to think about what he had to wear.
It's weird.
That's legitimately, that's why he wore khakis the whole time he was with the Niners.
Kind of respect it, though.
Sure,
I do.
But kind of psycho behavior at the same time, sicko behavior.
Simplify your life.
That was his thought process.
Buy 7 pairs of khakis.
He kind of wore that black kind of long sleeve, and that's what his whole wardrobe was consisting of.
Yeah, his look is pretty consistent, and their khakis rarely fit. It's like he thought, well, I'm going to buy them bigger in case I grow into them.
You're right. I'm telling you.
That's probably his mentality.
But
buy them bigger, they'll last longer. I'll grow into them.
That's how Jim Harbaugh operates, man.
Weird dude.
Yeah, to your point, you probably would be wanting to battle for that 5 spot and a chance to go to either Pittsburgh or Buffalo. But I think, once again, this is Jim Harbaugh, and I don't know that anybody really knows what's going on in that brain of his.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenarios here, and I wanted to bring all those up with the Would You Rather because it's interesting to see who's going to be playing each other, what the matchups are going to be.
Yeah.
This NFL playoffs is going to be awesome.
Real quick, I need to answer a question I promised we'd reveal who won our intro.
Oh, yes.
So, Brant.
We people, you listening have waited long enough. It's time to unveil the KSL Sports Zone Fantasy Football Champion.
Brant is our winner this year.
Congrats.
One of our illustrious techs. And we had an interesting playoffs. Let's just put it that way. It's kind of mainly the producers and techs from the zone that was all competing in this. Alex was in it. Christian was in it. I was in it. I finished in 3rd place, which, considering how my season kind of went up and down the entire way, I'll take it. But wild stuff because we had Connor, who legitimately is very proud of this. He was using AI all year to keep himself. He was the number 1 seed going into the playoffs and finished
Connor,
disappointing 5th place, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Alex?
That's right.
Yeah.
He finished 5th.
Well, he learned a lesson then.
He did learn a lesson.
Christian started the season 1-7.
I was gonna say, then
I
he-
want to say, and he still made the championship game.
Wow.
Yeah, he came back.
I'm telling you, we
What a
had
rally.
we had quite a run.
Sounds fascinating. Time to move on.
Yeah. Anyway,
Who won? Who won it?
Brant.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Brant. Sorry. Yes.
So there you
Brant beat Christian in the championship. Hey, congratulations, Brant. So what I think people really want to know is who finished last and what's their punishment.
go. We never established that.
Was it Parker who finished last? I can't.
I don't remember. I have to go look at this.
Does he have to go to the mall and play the guitar in his underwear? I mean, come up with something.
Send him to IHOP and force him to sit there for 24
Yeah,
hours.
like 24 pancakes in 24 hours.
Pull the Waffle House treatment that they used to do. We
Yeah.
love Waffle Houses here, so
Yeah, there's been some funny ones out there. That's I'm sure you guys can come up with something.
we'll figure it out.
All right. We're going to figure some things out during the break. We're going to be back. We're going to talk more college football, specifically BYU. Jake, I know you're going to have some insight on some of the things going on with the Cougars right now. There's a lot going on post Pop-Tarts Bowl that could impact 2026. We'll get into it next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.